guys, it's Lauren and welcome back to my channel. So this video is basically going to be a remake of one of my old videos from a few years ago. I was going through a lot of my old videos. I saved most of them as private and some of them I even deleted. They are so cringy. I had my green glasses, my hair was like cut to here. I couldn't watch a lot of them for very long because they were definitely cringy, they were embarrassing. Because now I post my new videos on my Snapchat story and tell people to slide up and watch it. If somebody from my school or something, or just anybody in general, slides up and is like, oh my gosh, you know, this is her channel, let's binge watch and make fun of all her videos, then they will be able to see the ones from middle school. So anyways, this is going to be a remake. It is a story time of the time my dogs got into a fight with a dog twice their size, and it could have been fatal if one wrong move was made, possibly. I don't know, that sounds really dramatic, but it was definitely a scary experience. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop blabbing my mouth, because I do that a lot, and let's get into the story. So this happened not terribly long after my mom moved into her own house. I think she moved into it when I was in 7th grade. I am now a junior in high school. At the time, I think I was in 7th grade. My mom lives on a street with a sidewalk, so there are always people running, walking their dogs, etc. And so my sister and I were like, you know, let's take our dogs on a walk. So to kind of give you a little bit more backstory, I'm going to try not to go into too much detail, but my one dog, Pugsley, he's actually on my bed right now. I've had him since I was 3, and he is 13 years old. This is how big he is. So he is not all that big. My other dog, Dolly, we've had her for a few years also. She's probably 5 or 6, 7 maybe, and she's also about the same size. And Dolly loves picking fights. She thinks she's so tough. She'll growl at people that she doesn't know. She'll growl at a leaf going across the yard. Sometimes even when my friends come over that she's known for years, if they're petting her, she's like bipolar, so she'll be perfectly fine and then she'll like flip a switch and curl her lip at them. And one time she's actually bitten my friend's dad, and she was abused before we got her. She actually still has like a bullet in her from some kind of weapon. It's not causing any problems, but like she was shot, her tail was cut off for no reason. So that's some backstory for her. My other dog, on the other hand, Pugs, he is a lover, not a fighter. He loves everybody. He has a goofy little smile. So let's get on to the actual story. My sister is 2 years younger than me, so I was in 7th grade and she was probably in 5th. We decided, you know, let's take our dogs on a walk. So we crossed the road to walk on the sidewalk. I had Pugs and she had Dolly. We're just walking like normal. We weren't gonna go to another road, so that's why my mom was like, you guys can go by yourself, just be careful. We didn't go very far from the house at all. And a few houses down, there's a Mastiff out in the yard of one specific house. If you guys don't know, a Mastiff is a big dog. It's probably twice the size of our dogs, maybe even twice the size of my dogs combined. It's a big dog, but my dog Dolly doesn't care about size. She does not feel intimidated, I guess, whatsoever, and she decided, I want to pick a fight with this guy. Yeah. So I hear her growling, and you know, Courtney and I are like, Dolly, it's okay. And my sister stopped dead in her tracks, and she was like, I do not want to go past that house. But at this point we were already past the house, like we were gonna turn around and go back. So she was not wanting to cross past the house again. And she was like, I am not going past that house. And I was like, Courtney, if you just stay there, Dolly's going to try to attack that dog. But the Mastiff was creeping forward a little bit, and so we didn't know what its intentions were. We were like, oh god, we need to get going. And I'm sorry if this is all over the place. This happened, like I said, years ago, so I'm trying to remember it. I do remember it very vividly. I remember what it looked like outside. I remember like pretty much where everything happened. I remember where I sat in my house when I was telling somebody else about it, which I'll get to that later. So I remember a lot of the details. It's just, it all just kind of comes together. So I'm sorry if like all the details are all over the place. But anyways, I was like, Courtney, just run past with Dolly and we'll go home. And she was like, no. The only way for Dolly to not go after a dog, because we take them on walks quite frequently now, there's always other dogs, so we are very cautious. So basically what we do is when she has her attention on a dog or even just a person, we take the leash and run with her, and then she just turns her head back straight and runs with us. So I was like, just take her leash and run with her past the house and we'll go home. My sister was like, no, like, I'm scared. I think if I remember correctly, she was almost in tears because, like I said, that dog was really big. It was like creeping towards her, you know, kind of like a lion or a tiger or a jaguar that sees prey and is like stalking it. That's what it looks like. So I turned around and started going back towards my mom's house. I had already ran past with Hugs, is the thing. Like, I was getting annoyed with her. I was like, okay, well, I'll just leave you here then. I'm going back home. If you don't want to bring her back because you're too scared, that's on you. I started going back, and then I hear her scream and a bunch of fighting. The Mastiff had lunged at Dolly. Keep in mind, we were on the sidewalk. We were not trespassing. We were not in the yard of that house. We were on the sidewalk the entire time. The fight happened on the sidewalk, so we were not doing anything wrong. I ran back. I was dragging Pugs at first, and then I let go of his leash because I wasn't thinking. I let go of his leash and started kicking the dog, the Mastiff, because, like I said, 2 times bigger than both of my dogs combined. I was going to do anything and everything I could to protect my dogs. I've never seen Dolly so helpless in her entire life. She's normally like the alpha, or she thinks she is. People are normally scared of her, but this dog, I am not joking when I say this, had her pinned to the ground. I have that vision in my head right now. He pinned her to the ground. She was helpless. She was trying to whip her head around and bite him, but he had her held down in a way where she was helpless. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. Sorry. I'm like, I remember what it sounded like. Her yelping, her claws scraping the sidewalk trying to get up. I don't know exactly how this happened, but next thing you know, I blink and the Mastiff decided to attack Pugs then. So Dolly got up and they like switched spots. And that's when I got mad. This is not gonna happen. I was not taking any crap from this dog anymore because Pugs is my baby. I've had him since I was 3. He's been my baby ever since. Like I said at the beginning of the video, he is a lover, not a fighter.
He's even laying on my bed right now as we speak.
Look at my cute little bubber.
So when I watched him, I don't even think he was fighting very hard. Obviously, he'll fight back if he is in trouble, and if another dog attacks, he will fight back, but I don't think he has it in him. So I was kicking this dog, not afraid of hurting him because A, he's hurting my babies. B, it's such a big dog. I didn't care about hurting this dog. I'm a 90-pound 7th grader. Like, I can't do much damage to this dog unless I had a weapon. And then the one owner came out. Now this made me so mad, as if it couldn't get any worse. The owner didn't care whatsoever that the dog had attacked. It's as if it's happened all the time. This dog has had issues like this before. The owner didn't seem to think much of it. He grabbed it up by the collar and said, "You dumbass," and drug it inside. And me being the nice person that I am, for some reason, even though I was not trespassing, my dog did not attack first, and we are the owners that make sure our dogs are on a tight leash. I'm the one that said I'm sorry while I was in tears. The owner didn't say anything back. He just took the dog inside, and that was that. So the sidewalk we were on goes downhill. If you cross my mom's house and walk that way, it goes uphill, and then when you come back, it goes downhill. We were up here, and I took Pugs and ran down there. Like, I ran the fastest I've ever run, and I have asthma, and I just booked it with Pugs. And he's a pretty fast runner. I mean, he's a dog, and it's not like we were on a walk for very long anyways, so he still had a lot of energy. I thought my legs were disconnected from my body. I could not feel them by the time I got back to the house. My mom was like, "What happened?" She could hear us screaming from like 5 houses down. And when I started running, I didn't know where Courtney was. Now this is where it's a really big blur. because I remember I thought she had gone either back home. I don't even know where else she could have gone. I think I just thought she went back home. But as I start running, I see a van pull in, and I see her right next to the van with Dolly. It was like a glimpse out of the corner of my eye. But I didn't think much of it because I was just thinking of what I'm going to tell Mom. And I just didn't think much of it, I guess. Every time I think of it, it's a big blur. So I run back home and I tell Mom, I'm like, this mastiff down the road attacked our dogs. I don't know where Courtney is. So we jumped in the car. As we were getting ready to go down the driveway, a van pulls in. My sister and Dolly jump out, and it was these super nice people, which obviously, just because you believe people can be nice and stuff, don't do this. In our case, nothing bad happened, but things like this don't always happen for your benefit. Anyways, so a van pulls in, Dolly and Courtney jump out, and this lady gets out also, and she was like, you know, I heard screaming, we're from out of town. She had 2 daughters that were either on their way back from or on their way to a softball game, and that's when my sister was like, okay, these people seem nice. They were like, I saw your girls, and they just looked so sweet and innocent. And she also said how Dolly just jumped up in the car as soon as they opened the door because Dolly loves rides for some reason. They drove Courtney back home, even though it was a few houses away. Courtney was shaking, she was terrified. So then we all hop in the car, the 3 of us, and we go down the street a little bit. I pointed out which house it was, and we tried to look at the house number, and it was hard to find because it was like hidden, but we got it. We called the police to file a report. It wasn't like a 911, you know. My mom actually looked in like either one of the phone books, which like nobody uses anymore, but she looked in one of those, and then I think she looked online to like see what number to call to file a police report that wasn't an emergency, because obviously then everything was fine and we didn't want to call 911 when it wasn't an actual emergency anymore. We file a police report and the police officer comes down. My mom obviously wasn't there, so she couldn't really talk to them about what happened, and so I was like, you know I have really bad anxiety, but like, this is something I experienced firsthand. My sister didn't want to talk to them, so I told them what happened, and that's when they told us that this was not the first, second, third time this has happened. This has happened multiple times before, and I never want to wish death on any dog, but this was one exception where I told my mom when they left, I hope this dog dies. Like, I hope they have to put this dog down, because I know they put dogs down for aggression, and I really hope this is one of them. And so I've held a grudge ever since. The police officer also asked if we know of any injuries that our dogs had gotten from the fight. My mom used to be an animal nurse, so she looked him over and said that as of right now, she didn't see anything major. The police officer was like, okay, in the next few days, if anything shows up that looks concerning, then give them a call, and then obviously we'll have to deal with it when it comes to actual medical care. Luckily, nothing really showed up. The only thing was Pugs actually got bit under the eye, so that could have been bad. I don't want to say it was just a little mark under the eye. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it was a scab or a scar, but it was a good bite under the eye. But that could have been bad because if a dog gets bit on the eye, he or she could go blind. So we're just lucky that that's all it was. I think Dolly got a few bites on her body. Ever since, I think I saw that same dog out in the yard a few weeks after the incident happened. But then again, throughout the years, there have been police cars show up at their house. I don't want to say often, but probably 2-3 times a year, which might not seem like very much, but I mean, compared to people like me who don't normally have run-ins with the police, that's kind of a lot. Another thing I wanted to say was, I haven't seen the dog in a long time, but I do want to say it is concerning if the dog is still there, because there is one dog, his name's Moose, he is so cute. I think he's a chocolate lab. He doesn't really stay in like his yard, so like he's gone into our yard, and he lives like 3 houses down. He's willing to go to our yard, and who knows if he were to cross the street and run into that dog. So thank you guys for bearing with me through this video. It's definitely gotten easier to talk about after 4 years. That was probably the scariest experience of my life. My dogs are still alive and well. Pugs is on my bed snoozing away right now.
Pugs. Hi. Oh, look at him.
So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down. I don't really care. Subscribe if you're new. And comment down below what videos you'd like to see next, and also what you would have done in this situation. I'm kind of running out of video ideas right now, so I really need help with that. I also got an air track, so if you guys want to see videos on that or including that, then let me know. Bye guys, love you!